Welcome back, everyone, to episode 80. What is it? 84. Episode 84 of the Three Dudes podcast, where three dudes sit here and talk about a topic. We got two topics today, but before we get into that, introduce the hosts. Across from me, really far away, Broden Wunderlich. Broden, how's it going?
I'm doing great, honestly. I couldn't feel better about today's episode. And I was just actually saying this before we started, but I love the energy we're bringing into this.
Yeah, you just said that.
You just said
that. Yeah, and we're all wearing jeans, which is good for you listeners. We're dappered up here on a Friday night. Good to hear you doing well, Broden. Let's throw it over to our other host, Liam Owens. Liam tossing the headphones on his head. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Had a day off work today. Me and my friend Easton, we went and got some Qdoba breakfast. It was my first time, as far as I can remember, getting Qdoba breakfast. So,
and it was pretty good. What did you think?
It was great. I wish I would have had 20 more minutes to eat it, but our breakfast plans were at 9 o'clock, and I woke up at 9 o'clock. And
right on time.
Yeah, I texted him and I said, "Hey, I run a little late." Then I got there at 9:20.
Forgot you couldn't teleport.
Yeah.
I had a slight issue with my burrito. Usually I go egg, potato, bacon, right? And I told the guy, walked up, said, egg, potato, bacon, regular burrito. There's a small and there's a regular burrito. He says, got it, boss. Starts putting it together, puts on the egg, puts on the potato, puts on steak. I'm like, I don't think you do got it, boss. I think you have someone else's order. So I started looking around like, it's not mine, right?
As soon as he said, got it, boss, you should have said, that's egg, potato, bacon.
Yeah. Let's just do that one more time just to make sure you really
run this
got
down real quick.
Yeah. And I told Liam, I said, I've been meaning to try the steak. So I guess today's the day.
Was it as yummy as the bacon?
No, I like the bacon more, but I'm glad I tried it. So it's a happy accident. Did you go bacon?
Steak.
What'd you think?
Good.
It's like bacon. The bacon's like bacon bits, like little chopped up bacon.
See, I think I'd like to get that next time.
Yeah.
And really give it the more breakfast feel. But that's where it's like, and that's what I told you when I sat down. Like, after you hit that big three, eggs, potato, and then whatever your topping is, there's not a lot left to put on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a breakfast burrito. Like
queso?
I did queso, pico, some guac. And
there's some guac on there.
Yeah.
Getting outside of that comfort zone.
Guac's, they say it's good for you. So
yeah,
I threw some on.
Yeah.
I'm all about feeling good.
The free shavakadu.
Yeah.
Funny story about our meeting. I told Shayna, I said, yeah, I got a meeting with Liam in the morning. And she said, oh, okay, sounds good. So then I'm getting ready this morning, getting the stuff into my van so I can leave. She's like, hey, is Liam coming here for the meeting or are you meeting him somewhere? I said, our meeting is just Qdoba breakfast. We're not talking about it. We're just going to have breakfast.
Hanging out.
So, yeah, I'm glad we got it done. And glad we're on a Friday here. Energy is off the charts.
Yeah. Let's do it again. I'd love to do that again sometime.
Next Friday. You're like, let me get back to it.
Could.
Yeah, I don't even know what I have next Friday, so I can't commit to that.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah. I'd like to get the other two gentlemen in here. Maybe we'll do it on a Saturday morning at some point.
Good. Nathan, would you be in for that?
Nathan's in. He's giving us a little head nod. All right.
If you were out, we'd probably do it anyway.
These could be our weekly. These could be our weekly Three Dudes meetings where we talk about the topics.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think it'd also be great if Nathan messed with my headphone jack a little bit. I got nothing in the left ear.
Get a little funky. That's the mic jack, so we're gonna try the headphone jack. There we go. You can always mess with the one on your left.
Have been.
Too.
I don't know if you know.
Gotcha.
Definitely have been.
Yeah, all right. Well,
that's good.
Yeah, you guys do the thumbs up, thumbs down. Got it?
I think so.
Okay, cool. So we got one comment. We had a bunch of comments. A lot of people on the AI video of you talking about Mercedes-Benz new AI robot. They were pretty upset we didn't attach the video. So I'd just like to say to all you lazy asses, just go search Mercedes-Benz AI and watch the full video because we didn't want to add it. So that I want to get out there.
Is that on YouTube or what?
Yeah. TikTok. You saw it. You talked about it. Remember the Apple?
I didn't see it on. Oh, yeah. I know the video, but on the comments for us.
Oh, yeah. It was on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, thanks for all the comments. The only one that I'm going to start reading the ones that are actually commented on the episode, not the clips. So the comment we got in the robots episode from last week. That was robots last week.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Whatever you had last week.
Was Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark. Okay, that's what it was on.
Oh,
From Brad, 3950. Hope you guys get more traction. You got decent topics and you're a chill bunch of guys. I like the casual podcast like this. So
thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it, dude.
The vibes are now even offer the charts.
The charts are busted.
Yeah.
Brad, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
We don't get a whole lot of those love comments.
That's how I figured I'd get the energy rolling from the top. Let's get that in there.
Now cut us down.
Yeah.
Give us a really bad comment.
Yeah. Liam, small horn, Broden. That is a podcast.
Come on,
dude.
dude.
Broden, it's got nothing for you. You're just a good guy. And that's all. So I think
he's
it's just a one Liam. But no, yeah. Brad, 3950. Really appreciate it. And appreciate the comment on the episode, not one of the clips. Because the episode, then we know you're watching, you're listening.
Right.
Maybe it's a bot, but Brad, I did reply to your comment saying, appreciate it. We're going to read your comment. So if you did actually listen to this episode, thank you again. Appreciate it.
Tons of exposure for Brad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brad.
Brad's got the biggest tires right now.
Brad, you got a free ticket to our first live show.
Boom.
Maybe tell us where you're from. We're curious. It's probably like from down the road.
Right.
I've been watching you guys walk into Easton's house. It's a good
Big
show
fan.
you're doing. Yeah. Okay, man.
In our walls. Listen to him live.
I'm next door. I haven't looked in my spare bedroom in a while. You might be just squatting in there.
Could be.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, let's get into this week's podcast episode. I wanted to talk about this. I think I texted you guys 3 or 4 weeks ago saying I got a great podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't tell you what it was. And this is what it is. Pilots and planes.
I would not have pegged it to be this after you said that.
Yeah. What did you think it would be? Did you have any guesses? You thought it was more off the wall?
I thought it'd be much more off the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like a little more niche in a way, but that you could definitely.
Anthills.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be.
Book bindings.
I might hammer that next week.
Fake plants.
Anthills.
Yeah.
That would actually not be
Ants
bad.
would be
Ants
a
are
sweet
crazy.
episode.
You ever see
Yeah.
that video where they like dump like hot mercury or something down an anthill
Huh.
and they dig it up like after it cools down and it's like as big as this room.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, I suppose all the veins and everything.
Right.
It's really vascular.
Yeah. All the tributaries of the ant colonies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they all got to have, bedroom and spare bedroom if they have company over.
Do you think animals have like, this is my room? This is your area?
Territory.
Like, where do like bears and lions, where do they sleep at night? Caves?
Dens.
I've never really known that,
Yeah, it's an interesting.
Where do wild animals
do
sleep?
they like return to the same
Turkeys sleep in
spot?
trees.
Like
Turkeys
pack,
do?
Sleep in trees.
Yeah.
They roost.
Turkeys sleep in
There you
trees?
go.
What the hell?
That's huge.
Sweet. Yeah, that's nuts.
Cool.
for as small as an ant is. Well, you're
Yeah,
gonna have to
that
text that
laptop
picture in
doesn't
so we
quite
can
do
link
it justice, but that's actually like half the size of this house. That's
Nathan,
the biggest one they've ever found.
timestamp that. We'll throw it up. We also
So that's a big
throw
table.
the picture.
Yeah.
That would
It
be
has to
cool.
Support that.
That would be cool as like the Rockefeller Christmas tree next year should be that.
That would be sweet. Yeah, that'd be really sweet.
And then you make giant ant ornaments.
Less sweet. That
I
sounds
don't like-
terrifying.
Well, they're just
Bugs.
plastic.
Yeah, I don't.
Taxidermy
I think
ants.
Yeah.
One, you got to
Imagine
find the giant
going
ants.
to a taxidermist with a handful of ants. Like,
You stuff these.
hey man, you think you could preserve these for me? These were my favorite ants.
Yeah. They've been a part of my family for years.
Yeah.
I've avoided stepping on their hill for months and months. What was I saying?
Rockefeller Christmas tree.
Yeah, before that. Can't remember.
Animals and dens and
Yeah, the animals, like
I think.
wild animals, wolves, nice bush. Wow.
Holy moly,
First
dude!
fart on the podcast ever.
well, you don't. If you would have just whistled
Yeah.
by it, no one would even be the wiser.
Did you really think we just whistle by that?
There's me whistling by it.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice one. But
Yeah. So I
So
mean,
like wolves and foxes.
I think pack animals kind of return to the same spot. Like wolves, like if you look at, they track wolves in Yellowstone and the different packs, like they have it color coded on a map,
Yep.
and different packs don't cross into different territories of different wolves. So like they probably return to the same area for
Yeah.
shelter and stuff. I would have to imagine. But like a
Like-
bear, like a singular animal that don't,
Yeah.
a solo guy.
Can they just sleep out like in the grass?
I would think so. Like he's a bear. Like what's going to try and kill him, you know?
Me. with my bare hands.
Oh,
Pun intended. Yeah, that'd be interesting because I'd imagine like wolves, they all go lay in one room and just like cuddle up to each other.
Right. Like you'd think they're
Foxholes. So foxes sleep in
Holes
holes, little dens.
in the ground.
Yeah.
They're like big ants.
Pretty much
Yeah.
big fuzzy ants.
Yeah, it's terrifying to think about.
what about fish, man? That's a weird one to think about. What
Do
do they?
fish sleep?
They have to.
I suppose. I feel like they just float down and then once they wake up, they're like, gotta swim back up.
Like, is it true? I want to say I heard something where like some fish, like half their brain sleeps at a time. So like their
Yeah.
like motor function still works. So they're just, so they can still breathe because obviously they need water. to
What are
run
those
through.
fish that like fucking attach to bottoms of sharks and whales and stuff?
Suckerfish.
Is that what they are? Why do they do that?
It's easier than swimming.
Yeah, just riding the coattails. It's like when you drive behind somebody that's going like 15 over the speed limit and you're like, I'm going to go as fast as them because they'll get pulled over before me.
Yeah. I do that almost every day.
Yeah.
I go, that guy's blowing past me doing 82.
Yeah.
I'm
now got
I'm
a
now
person on
doing
his
80.
tail.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
He's the rabbit.
Yeah. And I am the hare.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they the same thing?
No. Or else they'd have different.
Oh, the
same
tortoise
name.
and the hare.
Yeah. Rabbits, hares, bunnies, all different. Jackrabbits, different.
Jackalope.
Are they just like types of bunnies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different lineage. You could tell by the tail.
I couldn't.
And the ears.
Well, you got to,
Yeah, people can.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I laid out 4 tails right here,
You're like, name the hare. I'm like, they all have hair.
pick one.
Yeah,
White.
I'd be in trouble.
Brown.
All right, let's get into this week's topic, pilots and planes. Really, this stemmed from me. I think we've talked about this on the show multiple times. I know at least once.
You don't
But,
know how a plane works.
Yeah, I know how it works, but I'm not really convinced that that's not sorcery.
Not convinced.
Do you remember Starbase
Oh, yeah.
in 5th grade? Did you
Oh,
go
yeah.
to that too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you step on that little button and your rocket goes flying in the air.
Boom. Fly a plane on
Only
the
thing I
simulator.
really remember.
But they,
They did have a plane flying simulator.
Yeah.
yeah. Do you remember them like giving us the lesson on how plane wings are designed and why they work?
Yeah, lift.
Do you remember that whole lesson verbatim?
Probably.
Because I wouldn't be shocked at all. I wouldn't be shocked if you were able to just close your eyes and Rain Man that whole thing and get to live through it again.
Oh, you missed it? Well, let me recite it for you.
Yeah.
So I remember this lady, I forget her name, but she had me and another guy stand at the back of the class in the same spot.
Yeah.
And she said,
You're
"Okay."
each a tower.
Easton, you're a plane.
Yeah.
Liam, you're going to come in the room a little bit later.
And then you guys are going to fall
Yeah.
over.
Ernie, you're going to dive into the ground.
Yeah. And then
So
somebody,
you guys were in the back of the class.
yeah, we're standing there and there's a row in the middle and then 2 rows on the outside of the desks. And we're standing in the middle. She goes, all right, now you walk straight down the middle and your buddy here is going to run to the left and all the way around and try and meet you at the front. And so like we did it. And basically that's how a plane wing works.
So your buddy was the wind.
Yeah, he's
air.
faster. Yeah, faster moving air around a plane wing creates less pressure, which causes lift. That's why they're like curved. A plane wing is.
So the pressure that we have in the room right now, this would be like normal pressure on my arm.
Yep.
If there's fast moving pressure going over my arm, like say there's
Fast-moving
a
air.
fan, a fan blowing it,
Yep.
my arm would start to lift. Respectively.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
That's what
If
you're
it was a
thinking
plane in the air.
about. If you were moving like 100 times faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good way to explain it. Yeah, I'm still wizardry, but
Still don't
fine.
believe it, but
yeah.
sure.
Wizards came up with it.
So that's today's
bare
episode.
minimum.
Basically, we solved it. This is World Hunger
Yeah.
done.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, so we figured out planes, figure out pilots. Why are they like that?
Well, you'd have to dive into our friend's mind, Noah Tate.
Yep, shout out Noah. No
Shout-
way he listens to the show.
No,
Nah, definitely.
but he's a pilot or is almost a pilot. I'm not sure. But,
One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying.
What do you think goes on when you decide, like in your head, to decide to be a pilot?
Money.
Because that's one of the, is it, you think? Because that's one of those jobs.
The lore, probably.
I was thinking when I was doing the notes for this, we could do an episode on like scary jobs. You know?
Mike Rose, dirtiest jobs.
Yeah, but scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scariest, dirtiest jobs.
You ever been on a plane where like it starts to get a little turbulent and you're like, yeah, this
Do you
is
want to
it?
know what that is?
What?
So I got it explained to me from a TikTok, and they call it the Jello theory. So when people think about when they're in turbulence, you can compare it to being like a cup of Jello.
Okay.
If you were to put, let's say, a Lego piece in a cup of Jello, you can move around that Jello cup as much as you want, and the Lego piece is never going to hit the edge of the cup, right?
Okay.
So technically, the plane is the Jello, and us inside are the Lego piece. So really, the plane is moving around, the cup of Jello is moving around in the air, in the sky, but we're not going to go flying into something, and nothing's going to go flying. Sometimes it does, but you can picture yourself as the Lego, so you know, okay, it's just a plane moving, and we're kind of moving around in Jello with it.
Right.
That's what it is.
Doesn't make it any less scary.
It does, though, because I learned that, and then I took like 2 flights after that, and every time I was like, okay, some turbulence. Let me just think about the Jello theory.
We used to play Jello in the car. You remember that? We'd unbuckle going around corners, and you just smash your friend against the window. I think I played it with you and Barchi all the time.
Yeah.
It's called, we just say Jello, and your
I
mom
do.
would take a turn, and you and your buddy, if you were like in the middle and then on the left and you're taking a left turn, you just go flying into your buddy on the right side.
I
and
weirdly
smash him against
remember-
the window.
Sounds great.
Weirdly remember doing that in like a church parking lot. Yeah. Doesn't add much to the story, but it happened there, I think.
I'd like to touch on your Jello
Oh.
theory.
Yeah.
Because that's must be true for big planes. But if you've ever been around in like a little pond hopper, last summer,
Skinnier cup of Jello.
yeah, well, we'll see. Because I was on a smaller plane, me and one of my coworkers, he has his pilot's license in a plane because he is loaded apparently.
Yep. As you must be.
So we went golfing to the links in North Dakota. And on the flight back, it was hot. Might be the hottest day on record. And we hit a pocket of cold air, which is what it would be. So like if you're going over water and stuff like that, there's such a drastic temperature difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of where the temperature, like the turbulence comes from. Temperature difference and the way the wind, like if you're flying over mountains, the way that the wind comes up over the mountains will cause turbulence in the plane.
Yeah.
So we went through a pocket of cold air, and it sunk the plane so fast that I came up out of the seat and I bonked my head on the roof.
You weren't buckled.
Yeah.
I might have been. I think I was.
I believe you were buckled. I would argue
Well,
that
there was this
it is
much
because
room
of the size.
between my head and the
exactly.
roof. Yeah.
So imagine you had a cup of Jello and
I
there
know,
was
yeah.
a sliver of Jello between your head and the edge of the Jello cup.
Even still,
You know?
a little sketchy.
Yeah. So I think the bigger the plane, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
But it does, maybe that's something we've finally given some educational advice on the show. If people are ever wanting to, if they get scared during turbulence, try to think about that.
Yeah.
I also saw the same thing to use this cup, for example. For the people listening, I'm holding a glass of liquid. On a plane, when the cup goes like this and you're in turbulence, it will never spill over the edge
Why not?
because of the same theory.
Why? What if that was filled to the brim and you just shook it like that? Well, see,
Yeah, that's a good point. I should have asked that to the person that told me that.
what if your cup tips over because the turbulence is so?
Well, I don't think it
drastic?
will.
What if it does?
You're asking a lot of good questions, Liam.
Yeah.
Did they tell you to ask these at Starbase?
Yeah, they said if any of your buddies tries to pull the wool over your eyes, be sure that you just
Ask
grill
them
him with
this.
these questions.
Yeah. Well, so that's false. I made that up. But
I've
The
made
other
up
one-
a lot of stuff in the past 20 minutes already. Suckerfish, I completely made up. I have no idea if that's actually what they're called.
yeah.
That picture that Nathan showed us of the world's largest mercury, made that up completely.
Really?
Yeah, that was a total lie. That thing could be as big as my hand for all I know. I couldn't tell
And we
you.
went with it. You got to go into things with confidence.
Do you want me to remove your fluff from your fish, your sucker fish? I was just going to roll with it. It's called a cookie cutter fish, but
Is it?
yeah.
That's made up too. He's
Probably.
doubling down on the making up.
He's yeah, and that's a much more believable lie than what I had.
A cookie cutter fish.
Look
That
up-
sounds
that's
like
not, that's not
look
as
up
believable. I
A
meant to
cookie
say.
cutter fish. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
That
They
sounds
attach to
like-
the bottom of whales.
that sounds like something that, hey, I've had 10 minutes to think about what I'm going to trick them into next.
And in that whole 10 minutes, all you thought of was cookie cutter.
Cookie cutter. It's like when you
You
stand
could
in
have
the
said
mirror.
something.
So when he looks this up and this is true, are you guys going to shit your pants on purpose? Because I'm right.
No, I'm just going to be like, it's great.
like,
There's
cool.
Broden on the podcast again. Yeah.
I
the guy that-
I don't know why
yeah.
they'd call him cookie
COO.
I'm surprised you weren't a bigger fan of higher education.
That's not it.
That's a cookie cutter fish.
Yeah, but you could tell by the picture right there, it has no suction capabilities.
You can tell by the way that it is.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
Never said
any.
he was right.
I would just Google, Nathan,
Google
Google
suction fish.
why do fish swim on other fish's bellies?
I thought it was barnacles.
They're definitely not barnacles
No.
because I saw a video of a full-sized fish on the bottom of a shark.
A barnacle is like a sea life.
Common
plant.
prey items for cookie cutter fish include marlin, wahoo, dolphin, tuna, sharks, and stingrays. The prey is left with a perfectly round cookie cutter shaped hole in the side of its body after sticking onto it.
But
Something
is
he
that
also-
the one you were talking about?
I don't know. I would need to see a picture.
Are you talking about more like a organic thing? Like
What is
A
that?
barnacle on a crab. It looks like a rock that grew on a
I'm
crab
talking
shell.
about a fucking fish. You guys know what a fish looks like?
This is what he's asking. I'm trying
No.
to ask his question
Okay,
for you.
Fish. It's got a mouth here, and then down here it's got like a little double triangle tail with fins on the side. That is like mounted to the bottom of a shark.
It's a cookie
Swimming
cutter
with it.
fish. One of them is.
Ooh,
Yeah, that could be it. That
'Cause
looks
it-
like a fish to me.
it latches on, and that is a cookie cutter shark.
A cookie cutter shark.
and then
Well,
once it
cookie
latches
cutter
on, it
fish,
goes.
But that's what it does. It just latches on.
Can you get a picture of the latch? I want to see it latched. Because I thought it was like baby sharks feeding. You know? How humans feed their children with
Oh,
their
yeah.
underbellies.
Yeah, but sharks are sharks and mammals are mammals.
We should get a little TV right up there. Then we
Yeah.
could just see what he's got going on right there.
We could do that. I got some TVs laying around.
Do you actually?
So do I.
I'm sure I could find one. Plenty of things to
You
find in
want to
here.
see this angle?
Huh?
What do you want to see?
He wants to see what you're Googling so we can put it up on the
Yeah,
screen.
so then you
we can
don't have
see
to
it.
go pick up
Flip
that
it, yeah.
big, heavy
We talked
laptop.
about this before.
We're trying to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
We care about you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Back to pilots and planes. You think you guys would ever want to be a pilot?
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty sweet. I mean, other than going to school forever. And
Outside of money, though.
yeah, I mean, like, dude, like you show up and you take off and then that's it. Then you press the autopilot button and it gets you to where you're going and then even lands the plane for you.
Fun fact. The autopilot is now on landings and takeoffs.
So,
Really. So
you
they have
sh-
to do nothing.
Yes, you just
Well,
are
that's-
there in case something goes wrong.
The notes I looked up is that you need to be there and be ready to take over the controls if needed.
So
That's
that
insane.
yeah, if that's what all I'm doing, like if I show up to work and maybe have to work, but 99.9% chance I don't have to work while I'm at work, sure.
Well, you still have to know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, so when I was doing work out at like Coal Creek, like at that plant,
Mm-hmm.
the guy there, he has to read cover to cover every single protocol and book that they have in there to be able to know like what to turn off in what order and like do a bunch of stuff if
But does he
anything
have
goes
to?
wrong.
Like their in-house
But-
Sparky.
But he
yeah,
doesn't.
pretty much. But for the 40-hour week, he sits there with his feet up for 39 of them because he's there to make sure nothing goes wrong.
And if
But
it
if
does,
Has
something
he read
does-
the books?
He has to cover. That's his job.
God damn. So you just read for a bit and then you have no job, but you get paid still. What does he do? Does he go on his phone? Does he do Sudokus? Does he do...
I think probably a lot of that stuff. I couldn't tell you exactly what he does. I was busy working when we were there. We did stop to talk to him for about 5 hours at a time. A couple times a day.
Yeah, just
And
ask
then
him
it's
a couple
10 hours and then
questions.
we leave. So
All right. Nathan, did you have your finger on the button? You want to tell us something?
Yeah, cookie cutter. The fish, like they don't latch on; they just like swim by,
and go.
chomp, and then
Yeah.
on their way.
A little drive-by.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a cookie cutter. Somebody get you.
All right. So I would just want to say, I think last time we talked about planes, I was on record that I thought pilots were just glorified bus drivers. Think I might have to walk that back a little bit.
No, stand firm.
Before that, you said that you wouldn't want to go to school forever. I mean, it just depends on what pilot's license you're getting too.
Like a commercial pilot. I think, is that what
Then
you're
they
asking?
then they have to go to school.
I'm
forever.
talking like Delta, United.
Yeah.
American
Yeah,
Airlines.
then you got to.
And I kind of have the structure of how to get there because I was curious.
Yeah.
And
like-
we've talked to Noah about this, about how these guys that are flying Delta planes, there's no way I'd let my buddy, 25-year-old Noah Tate.
No, you don't get to that level until you're like 50.
Yeah.
You
So
don't-
go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think you actually start making, like, obviously you make decent enough money, but like pilots who fly Delta planes, like big Boeings like that, make quite a bit of money. But I think that takes 20 years of service time to get to that.
So I'm going to go through it. I don't know about the exact numbers. It's more hours based
Right.
over years. Nathan, while I'm going through this, I want you to look up like the salary of these Delta pilots. So it starts with got to go to aviation school, which obviously that's a kind of a prerequisite. Then you have to obtain an FAA medical certificate to make sure you're fit and able to fly a plane. Begin your flight training. You then have to achieve a private pilot license. So you have to pass a written exam and successfully complete the check ride, which is a practical flight test. Continue education, gain ratings. You have to, I know. Just give me a sec. So you have to do the instrument rating and then the MR multi-engine rating. So I think it's different from when you get like a single engine plane to
Double
I don't know how.
engine.
Yeah,
Triple engine.
I don't know how many are on like a Boeing 747.
Quadruple engine.
4 engines on a Boeing 747.
2 on each wing.
Yeah.
And then once you get really big, they actually put 2 more on the tail wing.
It's like when that guy goes through the drive-thru and he's like, 2 engines and 2
I would like
more
engines. What do
you have it or no?
salary?
Yep.
It says here the average salary for Delta pilots is like 180,000.
Gee.
Pretty good money.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you got to do is sit in the chair and go.
I thought it'd be more.
That's the average. So obviously
It's
there's guys out there making,
126% above the national average.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking national average because I know. But like for pilots, I thought like good money is like good money.
what keeps
Like
you
you're
doing
getting
it.
200 plus, which
I'm
honestly
sure.
at that point, whatever. But
Yeah. I mean, being that close to 200 is
I think the median for like the United States income is like 50 or 55,000 or something.
yeah, it's terrible.
And every time you fly, you get to wear that like cool little outfit they got going
Yeah,
on.
is
And
that
that
what you
little
call it?
hat.
Dude, every single time like I'm in the airport and I see a pilot walking around, I go,
That guy looks
that
good.
guy's cool, dude.
Yeah.
And I go, damn, that guy's cool.
And then you can wear the aviator shades because you are an aviator.
Yeah.
And then you get the little captain's hat, man.
Yeah.
I'd be wearing that shit to sleep.
You got to
Yeah.
believe that stewardess are just throwing themselves at him, dude.
Right?
I mean, he's in the pilot's lounge. He gets, I mean, if he wants a
think there's
bottle
a
of
Or
water,
pilot's
it's
she.
free.
Or she.
Yeah, I guess. It
Didn't know you could pull off sarcasm.
if you know, you want a bottle of water, get a bottle of water.
Do you think
know,
the
this guy can
stewardesses
do
are
whatever he
actually
wants.
throwing themselves at the pilots?
They probably are.
Sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Look at them. I mean, these guys are like,
Dude,
at,
I've seen
at minimum
some fat pilots.
Yeah.
some, yeah.
But he's got a lot of money.
But the majority that I've seen are like around 5'9", decent fellas.
The
Some,
problem-
some of them are tall.
The problem if I was
Not
a
as tall as
pilot,
me.
I'd be such a snacker, dude. Every time I'm on the road, I got a bag of seeds and I got some like pretzels and I got chips. You can't have. There's no way they allow them to have that stuff.
Shit, yeah, you're the pilot. They're gonna tell you no,
Dude.
they're the pilot.
we just talked
So
about
you
how
can't
you
have
don't
this-
even fly the plane anymore.
Yeah.
You show up and you click autopilot.
So you can't have that Chex Mix in here. Do you want to get to where we're going or not?
I think the pilot has to do some pre-flight checks
Inspection.
and stuff though.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
for sure.
Make sure the wings are on, wheels are,
And then
rubber.
for the next 4 hours,
Or they don't. Or they press the button that says pre-flight inspection. And then it checks everything for them. And then it comes back green light. And they go,
Great.
hey, everybody, this is
Hey,
your
this is your
pilot.
captain speaking.
Hey, everybody.
Have you seen how big the landing gears are?
No.
I don't know why. I just pictured them not being fucking massive. But the wheels that come down when they're landing are huge.
Yeah, they're going like 500 miles an hour.
Like huge.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, it's like probably like a couple tires.
No.
Well, it is, but they're just really big.
Like
tires.
monster
Giant.
truck tires.
Yeah. Like I saw a picture of someone walking by them, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. How
an
big?
idiot.
Look that up. How big is big plane tire?
Speaking of people walking by planes, you ever hear those crazy stories of people getting sucked into the
jets?
engine? Yeah.
Jets, engines, what?
Jet engine.
Yeah.
Same thing. Hey.
Yeah, I actually saw a photo literally yesterday of that where it was someone standing next to it, standing next to it, standing next to it, and then the fourth picture was just the inside of the engine was complete red.
Yeah.
Like it had been shredded. I'm like, oh.
I want to see that picture.
Nathan,
I'll try to find it.
pull up that incredibly morbid picture
It
once
is.
you get a second.
It's almost like adding to my fears, like quicksand. I always thought that was going to be a problem. Now I think I'm going to have this problem with walking past jet engines.
Tornadoes. What about flying in tornadoes?
Tornadoes.
Yeah, I was so scared of tornadoes growing up, dude.
Those were the two biggest things: was quicksand and tornadoes.
And you pair those together. Imagine you're in quicksand, tornado hits you.
Yeah. And
You
then,
imagine a quicksand tornado hits you. It hits you out of nowhere, and then you just can't move.
Just sucked right in. What do you
Says
got?
that the like the engines get to a diameter of 340 centimeters, which is about like 10 feet.
the engines or the tires?
I guess, did you
We're talking tires, the
you
landing
wanted the
gears.
tires?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, those are usually actually. I just had it.
Tell me in like terms that I can understand.
10 to 14 inches wide.
How many football fields?
and
0.04
28 to 36 in diameter.
feet?
20. Oh, can be
Inches.
inches. Inches? No way.
Yeah.
The tire is 20,
No.
30 inches. It's 3
diameter?
feet in 3 feet in diameter? I'm not buying it. Pull up a photo of a landing gear and I'll maybe buy it.
Big landing gear.
Yeah.
We want the for the sake of the
Show
show.
us the biggest.
We're not talking Liam's golf trip to the links here.
yeah. Like a Boeing 747 or whatever.
I could
those
have
big
grabbed
planes
those
are.
tires with my bare hands and
Yeah.
stopped that plane.
So
What
anyway-
about Air Force One? You got anything about Air Force One on there?
I don't. But we could
We could talk about it.
riff.
Yeah.
I just to get through this part, major airlines typically require 1,500 flight hours to even apply, like for their positions for
So
Delta
that's like
or
a-
United.
What?
1,500. Well,
That's a couple years,
Couple
maybe. I
years
don't know
at
how
least.
much a pilot is flying in a year.
Oh,
an hour a
it'd
day
probably take a long time.
is
Actually,
365
we
hours.
work around
2,000 hours,
Is it average
year,
work
a year.
week?
40-hour week.
40 hours, 2,000 hours. I think 2040. I think is the number.
Yes.
So it'd probably take
yes.
a couple of years. You think about flying a plane.
Yeah.
You're only going to want to
you're
fly
not working
a few hours a day.
But
5,
well,
10s, you
it
know.
only counts as flight hours. So your time sitting on the tarmac and waiting in the airports, like that stuff doesn't count.
So right, if you're flying and you're obviously not a pilot that's been doing it, you're only flying like an hour or two flight.
You're flying Minot to Minneapolis
Yeah.
3 times a day, 3 hours times. You're there for a few years, you know?
Right.
And you usually start at those regional airports.
Allegiant.
Is Allegiant regional though, or do they go by like city size, you know? Because there's no way Noah Tate is flying an Allegiant Boeing 747 to Vegas.
I don't think Allegiant has a Boeing 747.
Probably not, but I don't know what other planes are.
Yeah, me either. That's
It's
the
kind
only
of
one
Airbus
I
and
know.
747 to me.
I know the Harrier and
The B-52 bomber,
Yeah.
stealth bomber.
F1.
Yeah.
the SR-71.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
The VTOL warship.
yep.
Which
Does
I always thought was
Pavlo count?
Yeah.
AC-130?
The Wheelson.
Yeah.
Wheelson?
Yep. Not a plane, but something similar.
Pretty similar.
The Swarm?
Yeah. Hunter killer drones.
Have
Yeah.
you guys seen that new TikTok trend? You haven't.
RCST.
It's,
Okay, go ahead.
Care package.
Yeah.
guys sitting
Turret.
there,
Sentry gun.
guys sitting there with he's sitting there in the bar,
UAV.
and it's like the Call of Duty theme song playing in the background, and he's sitting there with an empty beer, and then it goes to the perk. It says "quick reload," and then it's just a picture of them with a full beer. And then now they're doing it for all the perks. Another guy did one, and it was the
Scavenger.
scavenger. He had an empty beer, and the picture of him reaching at the table behind him, grabbing their beer. So funny.
Where did you see that? I want to get on that trend. I need to get my algorithm locked into that.
Or they did one where it was like whatever perk gave you like a quick reload or like a double mag or something like that, or extended mags. And it's him, and he duct taped 2 bottles next to each other, and how you would do it like clips, one's upside down,
flip it upside down.
Yeah.
Juggernaut.
So insane.
What would you do for Juggernaut?
You'd give him 10 beers.
Nathan, what do you got?
I don't know if
for
that
us?
one's done yet. You could do that at the bar tonight.
The internet is telling me that the majority of commercial plane tires are only 27 inches in diameter.
So I'm such a liar.
There is
Never should ask for proof.
I think that pops up the largest airplane tire ever made, and that was the 1950s for the B-36 bomber. They were 5 feet wide and 10 feet in diameter.
Fuck. Such a liar. Not even intentionally.
That's about 5 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Which is pretty big.
That's huge. That's just width.
What's a regular tire? You're a car guy, Nathan. What's a
about that?
regular tire width?
14 and 19 inches.
Yeah. So it's double of a regular tire.
A
14
plane,
to
a
30.
regular plane is, a regular plane tire is double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Which
they got like
makes sense.
4 of them.
They're probably made out of pretty tough stuff, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rubber.
Yeah, really strong rubber.
Yeah.
Flex Seal.
Billy Mays
I'm
got
Phil
into
Swift
all
here.
Billy Mays here with another fantastic.
Phil Swift is it, or is it Billy Mays?
Billy Mays was OxyClean. He's dead.
Yeah, he's really dead.
Phil Swift did Flex Seal?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
I think it's the same name as the guy who did Nike, I think. Wasn't Nike created by a Swift guy?
Phil Knight,
Phil Knight.
the shoe
Phil
dog.
Swift.
Phil Swift, the shoe man. I think there was some Flex Seal on Nike's first pair of shoes, though.
Probably.
Yeah. All right, I want to talk about air traffic control a little bit.
Oh, sweet. Those guys are making serious bucks.
Yeah,
That's almost got to be a harder job than being a pilot.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Like, how about the dudes that like get on like the radio and they're like, yeah, hey, I'm flying this plane here. I'm with my pilot and I'm pretty sure he just died. Like, how can I get back home?
It's nuts. Like I always watch the TikTok videos of the air traffic control talking to the planes, and it's just like friendly banter.
Yeah.
You know, I saw one I think a couple days ago where he's like, "All right, JC 180, take a left and get in line behind the other guys that aren't going to take off." And the pilot just started chuckling. He's like, "All right, taking a left to the other guys that aren't going to take off because they're backed up." And I was like, "God, I'd love to just rip jokes on the ATC comms.
That would be fun.
That'd be sick." That's got to be stressful, though.
Are they actual pilots in the air traffic control, or
I'm
do
sure
they have
they
a
gotta
different?
have- they gotta have
Obviously, they
some
have
knowledge.
different credentials, but like,
Nerds.
do they got to be pilots too? You think?
I don't think so.
Like, do you think they at least have to pass a private pilot's license test?
I bet. To be able
Right?
to be able to like
I would say
jargon
no.
with them and like know what they're like saying.
Right.
and
That's what
stuff.
you got to know
Yeah.
enough about the plane controls.
Well, it's like the people that sell us like product for our work. Like they got to know when we're calling it in. Like, hey, I need like these. They got to know what we're talking about.
Right.
But do you think you can train air traffic control to be like, okay, come to runway 7 at 600 knots? Hey, do you want to go to San Francisco at 10,000 feet? I could do that.
What?
Having the planes not hit each other is probably the harder part.
You'd probably see it coming.
You'd hope so. They'd be out of a job.
New York didn't.
Nathan, see if air traffic control, what the credentials you need for that are.
It's pretty cool seeing it in action. Because have either of you ever been on like a small plane?
Not while I was flying.
So
Trying to think. I don't think so. I'm scared.
when me and my buddy went to play golf, then it's like it's got the little button on the top of the joy handle, and then he just hits it. He goes air traffic control.
I'm also a plane.
This is give me one of these. Give me a joystick. This is air traffic control. This is
Whiskey Zulu 30.
C184 requesting landing, whatever. And they go, this is air traffic control, C184, land on runway, whatever. So copy that.
Clear to land.
Yeah.
So crazy. How do you know what runway? There's got to be big numbers on them.
I think it's probably something you know before you get there.
Right.
I think they do also have big numbers, but
I'd put a giant 8. Runway 8. Huge 8. Land on runway 8. Like, how can you miss that? If I was building
what
airports,
if it was dark out?
lights,
Yeah, that makes sense.
glass runway with lights on.
What
it.
if the pilot has astigmatism?
What if we fire that pilot?
I don't think they let them.
That's why you have to take
Those
the medical
people?
test.
Yeah, people like me, they don't let
You
you
have astigmatism?
bad. Yeah.
Wow.
In your eyes?
What?
That's what an astigmatism is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you only get it in your eyes. You don't
Yeah.
get it in your fingers.
That's why I said
Okay, I'm
what?
sorry. It came out okay.
In your eyes?
That's okay.
All right, Nathan.
Damn, my toe hurts. On your foot?
Must be an astigmatism or gout. Who knows?
In order to be an air traffic controller, you have to be a citizen. You have to be under 30.
Really?
Yep.
No astigmatisms?
It's not saying that on here. You do have to pass a medical examination, security. There's a pre-employment test. Speak English clearly enough to be understood over communications equipment.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So
So none of these
talk
guys
well
work for
loud.
AT&T or Verizon.
Or
Google.
Or any credit card company.
Yeah,
Call service.
especially any credit card company.
Have 3 years of progressively responsible work experience or a bachelor's degree or a combination of post-secondary education and work experience that totals 3 years. They're pretty specific on that.
So nothing related to I can fly a plane.
Under 30, you have to be, or you can't be under 30.
You can't be, or you have to be under 30. They don't
So
have
you get to
anybody
30 and
over
you
30.
get canned.
That's crazy. How much? What is their annual salary?
Got to be enough to retire by 30. $6
That's
billion
what
a year.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
We'll give you 15 and a half a year.
Unless they send you to like some
Sweden?
senior citizens airport, 30 and up club.
Yeah, these planes can crash. Go
Oh,
crazy.
Yeah, these ones are fine. Yeah, we know.
44,000.
44,000?
That's it?
Yeah.
Are we kidding? And
Wow.
it's like one of the most stressful jobs in the world. It's got to be.
It can't be that stressful. Hey, I need to land here.
Well, it's
Go
also
for it.
in North Dakota.
Yeah,
Oh.
but like, what if you're at O'Hare International?
Yeah,
LAX.
Yeah.
pull that up.
The planes that are coming and they're just flying in behind each other. They're flying in behind each other over the ocean.
Mhm.
Cool landing, LA.
Looks like the highest in the U.S. was around like 61,000.
Wow.
Highest ATC is 60.
I thought they'd be making a couple hundred.
I thought they're making 100 to 150.
I'd
That was
say
my
I'd
guess.
ballpark that.
Why would the pilots do it if they could just sit in a chair?
Because you
all
can
day
only
and
do
tell
it for
people?
3 years, it sounds like.
So
Yeah.
boring.
So you have to graduate
Sit in
college,
a little tower. all
have 3
day.
years of experience, so you have from 25 to 30.
Graduate for, yeah.
Graduate, have to have 3 years of experience.
Yep. You'd work there for like 4 years and they'd can you and say, you're too old.
What do
God,
these
talk
people
about,
That's
do
ageism.
afterwards?
talk about the churn.
You can't fire people for
Fly
age.
planes.
Maybe. Maybe that's their foot in the door.
What would you rather be if you had to pick? You know, air traffic control or
Pilot.
pilot?
Pilot.
Pilot for
Yeah.
sure.
What if the money was the same? Would you? I'll get you lifetime water if you want. I take that back.
Oh,
Like,
don't
no.
do that. But on that, I'll send you the link to the Amazon, the water filter that I want.
You want a water filter?
I'm gonna like
Are
under.
you a water bottle guy?
He
Under
wants
sink.
osmosis.
I want
Reverse osmosis.
reverse osmosis water filter under sink mounted water filter in my kitchen.
So then your sink water tastes good.
It'll just have a separate tap that I got to put in, and I use that strictly for
Yeah.
Reverse
Drinking purposes,
osmosis
drowning
water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Politely.
yeah. So this is with purified water.
There's no iron in here. Thanks.
That took me a second. I couldn't quite hear what you said.
Be here all
Cool.
night, folks. So you'd rather be pilot. What if
Oh, for sure.
it was the same exact pay? You get free
Pilot.
bottled water.
Pilot.
No, pilot. Yeah, but you still get the.
So you guys are
You get
fans
to
of-
walk through the airport and people look at you and go,
Yeah.
that's the pilot.
He's the most important person in here.
Does air traffic control actually sit in a tower?
I think so.
because all comms come through that tower.
How high is the tower? I wonder.
100 feet.
102 feet.
Yeah.
You're
So
cruising for a bruising, pal.
you guys are in the like you're not scared of flying. I'm not scared of flying, but it's not like, yes, I get to fly today. You know? I hate people that are like, get to go on a plane, get to fly, get to sit in a shitty chair.
Get to be uncomfortable
It's
for the
great.
next 3 hours.
Can't wait for not feel my legs.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, there's a time where before I was terrified to fly. And then I flew like 5 hours down to Mexico.
Yeah.
And that plane ride was pretty rough. So now,
Why did you go to Mexico?
family event in Mexico. Yeah,
Interesting.
my brother got married down there. It's pretty cool.
Were you probably sitting in the middle?
I forget. No, it was window seat. And then there was a random dude that didn't want to switch with whoever I was. There's a random dude between me and my dad, I think, and he didn't want to switch with my dad. He just took his middle seat and sat between.
That's so weird.
Yeah. I think it was my dad. I don't know, but it was.
I think it was my dad.
I thought it was my dad. It wasn't.
Oh, no. I tried sleeping for the most part. Closed my eyes and remember just going like tensing up.
5 hours, I think. What's the longest flight before? How long are you willing to be uncomfortable?
I don't want to be uncomfortable ever.
But like like if I had to go middle seat, uncomfortable back of the plane from Minot to Minneapolis, whatever. Right. From Minot to Vegas, whatever. 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. At what point do you get to the point where you're like, I'm taking some liberties to get myself comfortable here?
When are you going to fork up the extra $1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the aisle seat.
I think once
I'm going to Mexico.
once I start flying overseas, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, those are like 12, 14, 16 hour flights.
Okay. Here's my friction, my rebuttal to you guys. What seats are you sitting on our trip to Vegas this summer?
Exit row, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both chose the extra.
Yeah, but okay,
Yeah.
that's for like an extra $20.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
if you want to upgrade to like first class on like these longer flights, you're talking like a few $100.
No, a few hundred. It's thousands of dollars.
There you
But
go.
I'm
No,
talking.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's probably like at
Thousands.
least $500 to upgrade to.
I just looked a couple days ago at some first class tickets, and I was like, because I was just curious. I'm like, how is this compared to economy? It's ridiculous. But that's what I'm saying. At what point, Allegiant obviously doesn't have a first class.
right.
They're all 3 seats on each side, no first class. At what point are you like, I don't care if I'm in the middle seat. I don't care where I sit.
All the time. I never
He's
care where I sit.
disproving that right now. We obviously care because we forked over like $25 to sit.
Yeah, but this
exit
is
row.
the boys' trip, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to fork over
So
the
let's
extra
say,
money.
okay, let's say you got a solo trip. You got to go see family somewhere. You got to go to an event somewhere.
Yeah. I'm going in as cheap as possible.
Yeah. For how long of a distance?
Doesn't matter. If it's just me,
So I say, Liam, you got an 8-hour flight you got to go 4 hours to New York and then 8 hours to London.
I'm saying, okay.
And you're smack dab in the middle seat. You don't give a fuck.
I'm not going to love it, but I will
So
tolerate it for
no
that duration
distance
of
is
time.
Too far, really.
Yeah, I'll get there.
What about you, Broden?
I'd go cheap to New York and then maybe fork over some money from New York to London.
Yeah, but you just told me it was a couple $1,000s. So
No, it's not. I'm saying that's if you're going from economy, which is the shitty seats anyways, to, okay, now I'm in first class. I have way more comfortable chairs. I have a full on armrest. I have it's like a spaceship seat, right? That's a couple $1,000s.
okay.
But if you're going from, okay, I'm going Minot to Minneapolis, I'm not spending the extra $30 to pick a seat. If I get the middle seat in the back, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? At what point do you think, nah, I'm picking an aisle seat or I'm picking an exit row if I can? It might cost me $50, whatever.
Anything longer than Minot to Minneapolis.
So over an hour.
Dude, how many
Yeah.
different answers are you going to have to this question? Holy crap.
I just heard 2 different questions, so
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because me and my girlfriend were looking at flights, and you can
Where
fly.
to?
Yeah, you can fly to Oslo, Norway, for less than $600. But that's the shittiest seats you can imagine.
Is that from Minot?
Fargo.
Where you guys going?
Fargo, yeah.
Oh, we're not
Oslo.
flying there.
What do you mean?
Where are you going?
We're not going. anywhere.
What's your plan? Are you looking at flights? Where you
We were just curious,
Just
Why?
just searching.
crawl on the internet.
For where?
For what do you mean?
Where are you going?
Overseas,
I mean,
obviously.
like we're not flying anywhere. No, but
You sure?
yeah, we're not flying anywhere. I know for a fact we aren't.
But yeah, no, I agree that there's some places like you can get from mini. You guys fuck off. You could get from Minneapolis to I think it was London is what I was looking at. It was like $690.
Yeah, in 4 hours.
No, Not in 4 hours.
See, I thought I'd sneak that one past you.
There's a layover in New York. But you can get there at $690. And then if you want to get first class tickets from Minneapolis to London, it's like $2,800. So I'm like, at what point of income or wealth do you say I'm flying first class no matter where I go?
I think if you have the income to do first class, you might as well just have the income to buy your own plane and just have a private pilot just fly you there.
But it's bad for the environment, you know?
But at what point are you going to get your own plane? Because obviously, like, the plane that your friend has,
Yeah.
that's different than, okay, I have a private jet.
It's
that's
extremely
worth
different.
$15 million.
Yeah. It also takes a few different types of pilot's license to do that too.
Yeah.
Not all the same.
Which I wouldn't have to worry about the pilot's license. I'd get
I just
someone
wanted
that
to throw
has
that
them.
bit of knowledge out there.
The owner of Dakota Refrigeration is a pilot, and he has his own.
How big
It's
is
like-
his plane?
It's
Third.
a charter plane. It can hold like 14 people, I think.
Yeah. So like at that point, sure. How far can a 14-person plane fly? Could I fly from Minot to New York?
I
That
know
depends.
He's gone.
How heavy are the
lot of
people?
places.
How much luggage do you have?
Bunch of fats.
How much?
Bunch of fat.
It's probably going to take a long time.
It's going to take longer.
Way longer.
Can't fly as fast.
It can't hold as much fuel because you have to make room for the fat people. Everything is
What if we
everything is
use
a
the fat
balance.
people as fuel?
Maybe if they have an exit door, exit row seat, just kick them out.
Yeah.
But that was the big thing where, like, if you fly in like a small plane, like I did, like he goes, okay, we have like a 350 pound capacity we can be at, which is fine for us. But
Yeah.
like if he was planning on going somewhere, like he would have to find more places to stop and get gas because you can't have as much gas if you have a bunch of weight in there.
Yeah. Why can't you just go full tank and then have a, like, you know how elevators have like 1,000-pound max? You know, your max plane capacity should be like, if you are filled up entirely full, which let's say it's 100 gallons, you get 500 pounds. Like there should just be one number that's like the most weight that everything this thing is when it's in the air can weigh is
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, they have that. But if it's 500 pounds, like your number you're saying, I'm 200, he's 200.
You're
Now we
leaving your
only
pitch
have-
much.
Now we only, I might have to, but we only have 100 pounds. Like it
Yeah.
gets to be like that.
So you're like, let's drop some fuel so we can bring a case of
Yeah.
beer.
So, yeah, even like little stuff like that. Maybe not like case of beer, but like
Yeah.
luggage. Like
So they're
50-pound luggage, like all that stuff. Like adds up and makes a
Complimentary
difference.
digital scales at the airport.
You just have to know before you go, because like where we go and fly out for like him having his own plane is aside from the actual airport.
Right. He's got a hangar.
Yeah,
So complimentary
Well, no.
digital scale in the hangar when you buy it.
you just know before you show up.
I think the tires should be a scale.
Yeah.
How squishy are they or what?
Well, just like imagine that there was a scale, like you walk up to the tire, which now we've learned is not that big. You walk up to the tire, and there's just a number on there. That's
Yeah.
like, you know,
Scale in the
weight it is.
floor. Like a,
11,200.
like a truck stop.
yeah.
Scale. That's what it should be. This plane can't weigh more than 1,500 pounds.
But then you
in
got to
there.
be on that thing. You know, I want to be able to read the number anywhere, right? So let's say I land it in a field, emergency landing, and you're like, how much fuel do we got? And then you can just look at your tire. It's like, oh, well, we're 5,000 pounds, so we lost 4,000 pounds of fuel.
It's a lot of fuel.
I don't know what the average number of fuel is. How much does a plane weigh?
That's a great question. Look up average weight of like a
Crop duster.
do like a Cessna. Yeah, like a smaller plane.
Because how much do they measure fuel by gallons or weight?
Both. I mean,
Nope.
a
I'm not
gallon.
gonna take that. It's an answer.
A gallon
be
of
one-
jet fuel weighs how much? There's a constant ratio.
Yeah, but I'm saying that you got to choose one or the other standard in the industry, right?
I think they probably do.
I'm sure it's
both.
by gallons. But you have to know how many gallons are going to weigh before you fly.
Yeah. All right.
So you want to know volume or weight? I because I can't imagine the MPGs like work for a plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does it? Like, because sometimes the wind's blowing right at your face,
Yeah.
so it's going to differ by quite a bit.
Well, sometimes the wind's blowing in my face when I'm ripping my van down the road.
Yeah, but it doesn't mess with the car that much.
Yeah, it does. If you're
MPGs?
if you're going straight into the wind,
If you got a headwind
Or
or
a
if you,
tail-
Yeah, okay. So I'm talking proportionally to a plane.
yeah, plane's bigger.
There's more wind way up
Yeah.
in the sky.
How much does a plane weigh?
actually, there's less wind. That's why they're more efficient.
I think they're
'Cause the
more
further you
efficient
go
because they're
up, the
500 miles an hour.
Less dense the air is.
How much does a Cessna weigh?
2,500 pounds.
2,500 pounds.
It
That's
holds,
like a car.
That's less than my truck.
It holds 53 gallons.
Well, it flies through the air, so it has to.
Don't even give me that shit because a Boeing 747 also flies through the air, and that is heavier than my truck. You could put my truck under that plane, like a little cookie cutter fish.
What were you going to say, Nathan?
I think my truck is like 6,000 pounds.
Whoa.
Maybe not.
No.
Yeah.
The maximum payload is like 870 pounds.
Is that a lot?
For a Cessna?
Yeah. So you get one.
870 pounds.
Do you have? I could call him right now. Do we have any questions we could rip to him right now live?
Should we? I'm down to do it.
Would he answer?
For sure.
Call
Okay.
him and ask him if he's comfortable with being broadcast.
Say, hey, you're live on Three Dudes. Can we ask you a couple questions?
Of course.
That'd be good. So
This
how
is-
much is my truck actually weigh? Because there's a
I
certain
bet
weight
you
where I
it's-
can write it off on my taxes. And maybe it's 2,000 pounds. Maybe it's 2,500
No,
pounds.
your truck is probably like in between 3 to 35.
All right. Brainstorm some questions. I'm
Okay.
calling him right now.
So we're going to ask them, do they measure in gallons
Yep.
or do they measure in weight?
Yep.
What else
And
you
then
got?
we want to know how he figures this stuff out.
Yeah.
do you want?
Michael, you are live on Three Dudes. How you doing tonight?
I am not.
You're not doing what tonight?
I am not on Free Dudes.
You are live on the Three Dudes podcast. How you doing tonight?
Ask him for his
You're
permission.
caller number 5. Do we have your permission to film you?
No.
Come on.
I don't be in the-
We've got questions about planes.
Yeah, we have plenty questions for you, Flyboy. Answer
What
our.
kind of plan questions?
Well, that sounds
Just-
like you're opted in.
Okay. Yeah. You're in, Mike. You're in.
That's debatable.
I'll start first, and then you can hang up if you don't like the question. We're talking about the weight of planes. You got to go into the top of the mic, Liam. There you go. Are planes is the fuel measured in gallons or is it measured in weight?
I mean, both, honestly.
Okay, can you explain it to us?
Because
How do you dictate how much can be on the plane? Like I was saying, there should be just a number. Like, hey, we can have 1,000 pounds. So if we fill up the tank full, maybe that's 500 pounds, and then we got 500 pounds of human or bags or whatever.
Well, like my airplane can carry 850 pounds, but if I have full tanks, it's like 300 pounds. And I have to count that in for my weight and balance.
Okay, so there is one number that's like, okay, we get 850.
And yeah, there's a certain weight a plane can be loaded up to, and it won't take off.
So is that like putting fat people in the back?
I mean,
You don't fly fat people, do you?
in a smaller airplane, yes, but commercial, it's different.
Okay. So I
They
guess
move stuff around. But
follow,
yeah.
follow-up question then. Why is the thing when the stewardess and the flight attendants are actually telling me to move around because it fucks with the weight of the plane? Is that legit?
I mean, yeah. You
How
don't
do
want
they
too many
know?
in the back, or else you have aft CG. You don't want too many up front because you got forward CG.
Okay, what
You
is
want, your
CG?
you want your center of gravity
Oh.
to be as balanced as you can.
Right over the wing.
I mean, kind of, because you don't want too far aft, because if you were to stall, you're not going to be able to recover from a stall.
Is aft, is that front of the plane, back of the plane?
That's back.
Okay. All right.
We had one more question. I forget what it was.
I can't remember. Liam, you got any other questions?
Weight and balance is very important.
So what happens if you're over? How much over can you be to comfortably be like, let's test it. Let's
You
try
can't
it.
be over.
I mean, you can, but realistically, you can take off overweight. You're going to need a longer runway, though. Like, you got to do your runway calculation. It's illegal to take off overweight, but you could do it.
Who catches that?
I mean, if you crash, they're going to...
Measure all the parts?
They're going to weigh everything if they determine you're overweight.
So there may be a chance
If we're charging
if
this guy,
you
he's
crash
dead.
with your buddy and he dies, you have to eat him.
So they don't know.
That's
Right.
fair. Yeah. Okay, so longer runway because it takes longer to slow down.
No, you need a longer runway so you can build more speed to create more lift.
Oh, so it's longer runway for the takeoff, not the landing.
Yeah, you don't want to land overweight though, because you can damage your airplane because it's only built for so much weight. And if you're really heavy when you come down, you can mess up your landing gear.
But you should be fine because you're losing weight while you're flying, right?
Well, but you're only going to lose so much. It depends on how far you fly. If you only
Okay.
get 20 minutes, you're not going to lose that much weight.
Full tank, Mike, and as little weight as possible. How far can you get in your plane?
4 hours, I can get to Denver.
So if you filled up your tank full and you flew it naked, you could get to Denver.
Yes,
That'd be cool.
That is awesome. Is that like cutting it close for you?
that would be pushing it.
And
And
can
you
you-
need to have, like, legally, you have to have so much fuel for reserves.
Oh,
You need 30 minutes worth of fuel for your reserves when you're landing, so you should have 30 minutes worth of fuel when you touch down,
in case you have to like land on the Hudson.
in case you got to divert somewhere else.
Yeah. So if you were to fly to Denver, would you land at Denver International or would you have to
No.
land at a regional?
No, that's too busy of an airport.
Okay. How
And those
big?
planes fly way too fast. You got to be able to keep a certain speed to be able to land there.
Okay. So follow-up question then. What size plane can I legally own? Could I buy a 747 if I had enough money and just fly that around by myself?
If you get all the right certifications, yeah.
That would be so cool. Then could I land at the cool places like LaGuardia and LAX?
Yeah, but it's going to cost you 10 grand to land it because there's landing fees.
10 grand to land? Damn.
When you get into the bigger airplanes, it costs money to land them. The small ones like I fly doesn't cost anything.
How big
But
of a
there are
plane do you need to
landing
get before they
fees
start
for every
charging?
airport you land at with a bigger airplane.
Huh. The more you know.
Let's say hypothetically, if someone owned a small plane, let's say maybe like the one that you have, how hard would it be to smuggle lots of drugs around the United States if hypothetically if you wanted to?
Around, like,
If let's say
like in the
hypothetically,
United States?
yeah, not out of
border?
country, not out of country.
inside the country, you know, I want to take hypothetically a bunch of drugs from Denver to, let's say, I don't know, North Dakota.
Hypothetically,
Hypothetically. I mean, is there anyone checking what you're putting on your plane?
It would be super easy.
So if you're flying your own plane, you don't have to go through TSA or anything like that.
No, but if you go to a different country, you still got to go through. You got to check in Border Patrol once
Okay.
at your first airport you land at.
So basically, they don't care if your own plane gets hijacked or blows up. It's only for the commercial airlines.
Pretty much, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want on your own airplane, but
Yeah, fly it into a building.
just don't. I mean, there are TSA guys that are at airports that can kind of audit you, but odds are they're not going to because there's 10 million fucking airports in the U.S.
Dang.
what's the craziest thing you could do on a
North
plane?
Dakota has 90 airports.
90?
What? I suppose like even towns like Garrison have an airport.
Right.
Yeah.
There's 89 public airports in North Dakota.
Who's got the one private? Who's the dickhead?
Oh, there's hundreds of private ones.
Oh.
All the farms around Minot, there's like 15 airports.
What says it's an airport, though? I can make a long enough dirt road and call it a runway. No?
I mean, yeah, you can land anywhere you want, honestly.
The bypass.
I mean, if you wanted to, just have to declare an emergency if you get caught. Say my engine fucked up.
You're fucking up your own engine. You're sticking sticks in it like you're sticking a bike wheel.
I mean,
We
that's
got
like a
playing cards
$34,000
all in the prop.
But
Oh,
probably not
man.
worth it.
That's awesome.
Well, I think, is that about it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, for your time. We appreciate you. First ever guest on the Three Dudes.
How does that make you feel, Mike?
What's that?
How does that make you feel? You're the first ever guest on the show.
Oh, what an honor.
Yeah. We'll get you a plaque. You can put it on your wall.
There you
Oh,
go.
it'd be great.
You're a special
You're going to
guy.
tell your grandkids about this someday. I hope you know.
I highly doubt that.
We'll see. All right, Mike. Thanks for hopping on the show.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Liam, get him out of here. All right. That was great.
Thanks to Mike, everyone.
Shout out, Mike. See, maybe that's what we need to do. Each episode, we bring in a live caller to talk about the
Phone a
topic
friend
that knows a little bit about it.
Right.
So
I already have an idea for you.
I like this. I like where we're going with this.
That was fun.
That was
I liked
cool.
doing that.
I think audio came in pretty well too.
And I think, obviously this is going to get us to eventually having a live guest where we can ask them questions like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine we were to have someone on that talks about, being an electrician, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be insane.
Like a real
I know a
electrician
guy
on the podcast.
that would actually, he would be
Yeah.
willing to come in and do that.
Yeah. So then we can ask him and I can make jokes about it.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as we know that he knows that we're kidding.
Yeah.
Like we made jokes about that and he took it well. I can't believe he didn't really want to be on the show very much, but
Yeah. He's kind of a more reserved fella.
we forced him into it.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
didn't give him much of a chance.
Yeah. You're answering our questions, boy. All right. Cool. What do we have for time, Nathan? I got a little bit more, but I don't want to. An hour and
10.
8.
We're at 10:02.
Hour 8. We can go a little bit more. If you guys had to land a plane on any location, where would you want to land it?
The cleanest, smoothest runway ever made.
No, but runway's off the table.
Probably, yeah, like the bypass.
Sorry.
That
I was
noise.
thinking.
Freaked me out.
Yeah.
I thought that was me.
You would go bypass, huh? I feel like that's.
I mean, highway,
yeah.
whatever's. I mean, either one's going to be long enough.
It's not cool enough.
Where are you thinking?
Main Street.
That's cool. Did you hear about that guy back in like the 70s or 80s or something? He was at the bar and he was drunkenly telling all his buddies, yeah, I stole a plane one time and I actually landed it on the road out here. And they're like, you're so full of shit, dude. And he's like, you want to see me fucking do it? Done it. Fucking did it again. Twice. He went to the airport, stole a plane and flew it and then landed it on the street in front of the bar.
In Minot.
No, not mine.
Oh, I was like, are we kidding right now?
Wherever they were, I don't know. But yeah,
But did it twice drunk.
That's
Yeah.
standing on business right there.
yeah, that's serious.
It's like, fine, you guys don't believe me, I'll do it again.
Should do you right now.
That's pretty sick though. Do you think you could land a plane if you had to? If in an emergency situation?
Yeah.
I know that was going around online for a little bit.
I could.
I think I could.
Yeah. Some dude that knows what he's doing could talk me through it over the radio.
Do you
for
think
sure.
that's toxic masculinity that we're experiencing here that we think we could do quite the feat?
I just think it's possible. I don't think it's toxic.
I think a
masculinity.
chick could do it too.
Yeah.
If she could just quit, whining.
if in the midst of her crying and panic, she
Yeah.
decided to land it.
It's crazy though when you see those people declaring emergencies, how calm they are in the cockpit.
That's a man's man right there, or a
Gotta
woman's woman, whatever you want to call it. It don't matter. But
Why do they call it a cockpit?
because that's where all the cock is, man.
The male pilots. Nathan, Google it. Why are they calling it a fuck?
We're up here in the vag pit.
Yeah. What are they doing?
Two female pilots.
We're in the front here. This is your two female pilots here. We're up in the clit. And
Clit cabin.
we're in the clit cabin. we're gonna be taking you to Tuscaloosa today.
Tuscaloosa. Because there's a captain and a first officer. Is that what it is?
Co-cap.
Yeah.
So, cockpit doesn't actually go right to planes. It just means like wherever you would operate an automobile of any sorts, like a boat, plane, all that
I
stuff.
was in the
Use
cockpit
that for my
today.
truck.
Um,
Yeah.
Get in the cockpit.
It comes from cock, which is an old English term for a small boat.
Really?
And yeah, it was kind of
Or an average boat.
Yeah.
very
I'm sure there was
loosely
plenty
went
of
from
boat.
cock to cockpit, and then they associated with it.
Yeah. Okay. Thought it came from chickens.
I did too.
Why do they call chicken a cock? Because it goes cock-a-doodle-doo.
Probably.
Yeah. That was a really good chicken noise, man. Good for you.
Been practicing. I was leading into this conversation today. I was like, I'm going to get them into the cockpit talk. Here we are. I didn't plan past that.
I think you crushed it.
Plan this whole episode up to the cockpit talk. I'm like, I'm going to get Liam to call his friend Mike. Thanks, Mike.
You're my best friend here.
So you'd go the bypass. What are you saying, Broden?
I didn't know you were going for cool places.
Well, you get to pick any place but a runway. I didn't think
Oh.
you'd go
Anything?
reasonable, knowing you.
Any
You're like,
any
probably
Still
place.
gotta land the
probably
plane.
open field. You know, go something cool. Top of the international inn.
That was like School of the Blind.
That was like School of the Blind, and you wouldn't land.
It land.
You're like, I'd hit the eject button. That's 100 feet up.
Yeah. There'd be some ejecting going on. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that the pilots are regular people. And like, what if they're hungover? You know? Like they always seem like they're in the best state of mind, but what if they're like...
They're probably massively hungover now with the invention of autopilot. What do they even
they
care?
fly hungover.
I think it's like super strict. Like they probably have to breathalyze before they get on a plane. And so like you can't drink probably 24 hours. Like I know there's a bunch of strict rules for it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I played a softball game hungover. I mean, why can't I sit in a pilot seat and look at this plane fly itself hungover?
I wonder what it looks like out the window.
Probably pretty
Clouds.
cool.
Yeah. It's got to be crazy flying into clouds.
You just suddenly can't see anything.
Yeah. What
That's
about,
what's crazy.
Like,
they have
flying through like a lightning storm and stuff?
When lightning hits a plane, it does not do anything. Did you
Right.
know
Yeah.
that?
Because it's completely enclosed. So it doesn't get,
Yeah.
Simple science, dude.
It's crazy that they have VFR and IFR. You know what that stands for?
Lost me.
Something frequency.
Nope. Visual flight rules and instrument flight rules. So VFR is if you're going to fly a Cessna to Williston, you can see where you're going, right? You fly the plane based on what you see out the window. Where IFR is you just fly based on looking down at your lap at all those little widgets and everything. So
the windows are just for show.
pretty much, yeah. Like that's if you're flying in a bad storm or there's a bunch of clouds or something, you just rip right through them and you just look at your instruments to fly the
To make sure you're level.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
There's a wild percentage of like, I'm sure it's a little more like, okay, now that pilots sleep here and there, if there's like a co-pilot that's awake, but like the percentage of pilots that have like admitted to like being asleep while the plane's flying, yeah, it's a lot.
I don't know if we were talking about this on the show, but when you're using the IFR, which is the instruments, I was talking about a guy on my business podcast who has his pilot, whatever. And he said, if you're in clouds and you close your eyes and then open them and try to get your bearings using visual flight rules, it's almost impossible. You don't know if you're up, down, left, right. He said he did it with his, when he was training with his instructor, and he had him do it, and he opened his eyes and he said, okay, now try to correct the plane. And the plane was stalling, going straight down, and he pushed it down to go even further. And his instructor told him, he's like, no, you got to pull up. Like, we're going straight down right now. I was like, damn.
Wow.
Can you imagine? You
Just to prove a point, this dude almost killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I think
awesome.
it's pretty controlled, but he's like, yeah, you have no idea where you're at if you're using VFR and you're in the clouds. No idea.
I want to try it, man.
That's free.
Yeah.
How often do you think pilots are tripping balls, you know?
Not enough.
How great of a visual would that be?
Yeah, being up 40,000
Watching the
feet in the air
sunrise, 40,000 feet in the air.
and then just high on acid.
It'd
That's
be
doing it pretty big, but
It'd be so crazy if you're flying over the ocean looking down at the ocean.
Right. I hate the ocean, man.
Me too.
I don't even want to think about being over the ocean.
you got that phobia.
episode. We did an episode on the ocean, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. What else do I got on here that'd be interesting to talk about?
You have any notable pilots?
Amelia Earhart. I think we end the show there.
That's it.
That's right.
all the
Her
notable
and
pilots we have.
Osama bin Laden's brother.
What's up,
And
brother?
cousin.
And cousin.
You guys have a favorite airline to fly with?
Allegiant, baby. I
Not
am
Delta.
loyal and true.
True. Like, not Delta?
Bad Delta story? You want to put Delta on blast on the pod for tens of people?
I just don't think they're great.
Why not?
I always ask for 2 cookies and they only ever give me 1.
Really?
I'm
I'm making that up,
I
but
made that.
do you actually
Wait,
have
dude,
some
Delta's-
qualms with Delta?
Delta gives out complimentary cookies.
Depends on the flight.
They're Biscoff. They're great.
I love a good biscuit.
I look forward to it every time. I get a Coke and I get a little cookie.
Did you know you're not supposed to get ice on a plane? Because the ice on planes
Melts faster.
is disgusting.
Oh,
Like this is what I've heard online from people that work either flight attendants or pilots. And that's why a lot of people, next time you go on a flight, notice how many people say, hey, can I get a Coke with no ice? It's because the ice is just horrendous. disgusting. Doesn't stop me, you know.
I don't care,
Hey,
man.
bugs
I've put so much bad stuff into my body that let's put more. Let's find even worse stuff. What's worse than plain ice?
Do you have like a favorite? So you have a go-to beverage on the plane then? You go Coke?
Nice Coke. Yeah.
Always just regular Coke?
No.
Do you ever do liquor?
Nope.
Really?
That costs money.
It's true.
I'm skating by on this flight.
It's true. Do you, Allegiant, you go on an Allegiant flight, everything costs money. You just pass?
Yeah.
Depends.
If it costs me money, then I just don't get the Coke.
Yeah.
My once a year trip to Vegas,
Go hard on the plane.
I get a couple shots of the Jack
Yeah.
and then a Coke.
I'll do that. I'll do that too with you.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, we're going to.
We
Vegas,
got to
you know?
ring in the Vegas trip. Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Allegiant. If you get the Allegiant World MasterCard, you get a free beverage on every in-service flight. Do you know that?
I had no idea.
And it's awesome because when I use that card, they're like, oh, awesome, you get a free drink. I'm like, perfect. And then sometimes they come back again. Hey, can we get you anything? I'm like, yeah, I'll take a drink. I hand them the card. I don't say anything. Just look down. Oh, you get a free drink. I'm like, nice.
Let's go.
2 free drinks, yeah.
Yeah, you have to have like a stick-on mustache or something. So when they come back,
Whole different one. You put on a Jason mask.
Yeah, I'm just wearing a clown outfit. It's like,
Yeah.
what is this? But yeah, there's one lady caught me on it. She's like, I think I gave you a free one, but I'll give you another one. And I'm like, these are the people that I
It's
want.
not coming
you
out of
know?
your paycheck. What
Exactly.
do you care?
This freaking $6 long drink. It doesn't matter. Just give it to me for free. But yeah, I do. It's funny because when you're on a plane, there's really no time that you can't drink alcohol.
airports,
9 a.m, you're like, let's go.
airports are outside of regular time.
Yeah. It's just like some weird
There's no laws.
mystical cloud.
Yeah, yeah, no lawless. You can do anything you want in an airport.
It's the other side of the Narnia door.
Yeah,
You go into an airport. all
time
hell
stands
breaks loose.
still.
Yeah.
Airports are interesting, man. I just got TSA pre-check. Just got approved for it last week. Super pumped about that. Watch you peasants stand in the general boarding line.
You got me beat by 5 minutes. Oh,
Yep.
geez.
There's a couple. It's interesting because we're obviously going on a trip with a bunch of friends. So it's like, do you go through the gate and then just go sit at the gate by yourself for
And then
10 minutes?
wait for
So you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
No, you can go. I can go in general boarding if I want to. If I want to hang out with you guys. But for solo trips, it's nice to just rip through TSA.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I to be honest with you, I would 100% leave you guys behind if I had TSA pre-check. I do not want to stand there.
I'm planning on it.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna. Don't feel bad if you do that.
Yeah. It's surprisingly cheap. $78 for 5 years.
So they just think
Wow.
for 5 years this guy's not going to kill anyone. He's
I'm sure nothing traumatic will happen to him in 5 years.
like if for the next 5 years, I don't think I could see this guy bringing a pipe bomb onto a little Allegiant flight.
Well, I don't think you have to go through the process again in 5 years. Maybe you do, but I think
Just
they just
renew
charge
it?
you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got to get their money somehow.
So one time they give you a check and they're like,
When he's 20,
yeah,
all right, he's good to go forever. Yep.
he's
all
got
right.
80 years left of flying.
39 years old, and you're like, I'm gonna blow up this plane. It's a good thing I got pre-check.
Yeah. I actually don't like planes being in the air anymore.
It's kind of like insurance. If you get it when you're young, you get health insurance or life insurance, something you don't chew or smoke or drink or anything. They're like, man, you get the best rate. 5 years after that, you're in the bottle and you're ripping a pack a day, and it's like,
And then when
I
you
think I
die,
got that rate.
then when you die, they cancel your policy because they found booze in your system.
Happens.
Is that true?
Yeah, if you claim to be a non-smoker on your life insurance and then you die, and on the autopsy they find tobacco or whatever in your blood, your family will not get that life insurance.
But if
check.
if I get it at 20 and I wasn't a smoker at that time,
You have to declare it, like it's on you,
to who?
the insurance company.
Got to call them up.
Well, it's just like whoever's providing
Get
the
put on hold
insurance
for
should
3 hours.
be like testing you.
Yeah.
You smoking? And you're like, swear, no.
You been smoking, boy?
Love it. All right. Well, that is episode 84 of Planes. You guys got anything else?
Nothing. Planes
Not
are cool.
really. Yeah. We'll be having more people phoning in, I think. That was pretty cool.
That was good. We'll have to start picking our topics based on people we can call. To
Right.
answer some
And then
questions.
let us know if you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you leave a comment on Phoning a Friend if that's something that's
Yep.
interesting to you guys.
And if you made it to the end of the episode, shout out Brad 3950.
Yeah.
3950, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Appreciate that
you
guy.
listening. And appreciate everybody that tells us in person too, because I know you guys don't leave comments, but there are some loyal fans that message us on the side, or they tell us when we see them at the bar that fans of the show, and they give us some engagement. So we're not forgetting about you guys either.
Never. Can't forget.
People that we don't know, Brad 3950, we appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, we will see you
Next week.
Everyone have a safe and fun Easter. I suppose when you listen to this, it would have already passed. So
Hope you had a good Easter.
yeah.
Peace out.